Hi, welcome to the Arsenal Fans Focus TV, where your passion and your opinions, and for the love of the game, take centre stage. I've got Jake, I've got Adam, and I forgot the name.
Charlie,
and I've got Charlie. You guys, I mean, I know I'll edit this part out, but is everyone's name there, or is it just mine?
I can't see anyone's names.
Nah, they're gone, yeah.
Oh, right. Oh, I can't see. I don't know why that's happened, but hey-ho. Okay. Right. Can you see it now?
There we go.
All right. Okay, cool. Right. So, Arsenal. We're going to talk everything Arsenal, what's going on, what's happened up until now. We're going to talk a little bit of rumours. We're going to talk a little bit about transfers, what you guys thinking about for the next season. Let's get that prepared. And there's a couple of things that's going on as well. We've got some big names watching some of our youngsters. I've just found out as well from Europe. So, but first of all, I just want to thank everyone for coming, and let's just take it away. First thing I want to find out is, how did you, Adam? What did you think about the Chelsea game?
Pretty much what I expected, Pat, to be honest. I think, it had 1-0 written all over it, really. I think one goal was always going to win it. They looked pretty blunt. We did as well. No surprise, it was a set piece that won it. Again, it felt kind of flat, It felt like it was a game that they didn't have much confidence to go and win it. We felt like we were kind of, it was going through the motions a bit and hanging on a bit at the end. It was an okay performance. I don't think they looked overly threatening. But yeah, for a game against a local rival with 7 or 8 games to go, you thought it'd be a kind of a better atmosphere at the ground. It just feels flat at the moment. I think all our hopes are now pinned on the Champions League, and it felt like that really.
Jake?
Yeah, I agree totally. I think since the West Ham game, well, to be fair, that's the whole season. I don't think the atmosphere has been as good as it has the previous couple of years. Don't know what that's down to, but yeah, since the West Ham game, especially, it's just the wind has gone out the door, I think, and you could see, I could just tell by the amount of tickets are available on the ticket exchange at the minute that everyone's just sort of given up. Do you know what I mean? Which is fair enough, because we're miles behind in the league, especially. All our eggs are in the Champions League basket, rightly so. But yeah.
What do you reckon, Charlie? What do you reckon? It was flat on its face? Was it a boring game? Did you expect it because both teams never really had strikers, or?
No, not really. Not really. I think looking at the game, 1-0, I think, was it a fair result? No, in my opinion, not. It was more of a 3-0 game, because I think the first 15 minutes we had a good spell. Obviously, he had the Rice chance, which was a little bit of a scramble, which came from Timber. You can argue it was a penalty or not. Then you had, I think, Trossard narrowly wide. I think you had a Marino chance before that. So you can argue that the game was shifting here and there, but I don't think it was a boring 1-0. I think it was more of a dominant 1-0 sort of. But second half, we just decided to just sit off. So.
All right. Yeah. I want to ask your opinion on this, Adam. What did you think of Mikel's statement when he came out and said that Chelsea has got the best strikers in the league?
Well, I didn't agree for a start, but yeah, I don't know. Sometimes I think, you kind of, when you're on a bit of a bad run and you've beaten a rival, I think kind of saying something like that as complimentary about them. I mean, they spent an awful lot of money. Say that, I don't think they're the best strike force in the country, but they spent an awful lot of money if you look at the amount that they spent on wingers and their strike force.
Yeah.
I think it's possibly, it's a little bit of a kind of nudge to the owners about, like, this is what you can get if you go and spend a bit of money. I think it was a bit tongue in cheek. I don't think he believes. I think he believes either like City or Liverpool are the best attacker. But I think it was a mention of, why are Chelsea going out and buying this many players and we are not. That's what it felt like to me. I don't think they look like the best attack in the league by any means. No, they haven't since Palmer's gone off the boil when Jackson's been out. But I think that was the reason he did it. I think it was very much like, lift to the defence. We've kept a clean sheet against a very good attack, and it just felt like it was something to get the confidence back in the team. Personally, I thought.
Do you think that puts a target on his back when he comes out with things like that, though?
Maybe to an extent, but I don't think anyone really believed it. I don't think it was, again, it's probably just been a little bit complimentary to a rival that you've beaten. I think it elevates, what a win it was in the eyes if you say how good the other team are.
Yeah. What do you reckon? What do you reckon, Jake?
Yeah, I think Arteta does this a couple of times. He just throws these liners out there to either get our players up for it or to or just to puzzle people.
Definitely puzzle people.
But I like it. I think keep it up. I like him just throwing in these weird little jabs every now and then.
You like it?
Yeah, because it doesn't mean nothing, does it? Really?
No, it doesn't. But I mean, he doesn't need that sort of target on his back, though, does he? Because he knows that the media is going to gun him.
I think he's right in saying where look at the amount of money that Chelsea have spent on their attack compared to us.
Right.
So yeah, I think it's all tongue in cheek with him. Really, I don't think we should take it too seriously.
Do you think it's tongue in cheek, Charlie?
I found it quite funny. It was more from the Pep playbook, because I know if you watch Pep's press conferences, he likes to be sarcastic with it sometimes. Especially when I've seen Pep in his press conferences, he likes to be sarcastic with it. So I found it quite funny. But I also looking at Chelsea's attack, and I said this to someone. In my opinion, the only good attacker they've got, apart from Palmer, is probably Jackson. I don't rate Sancho because I think he's like one of them. Sancho, for me, is one of them football players that you get at school that's always greedy, always wants the ball, always wants the attention. And if you don't have the ball, he's going to throw a strop. And Nkunku, you can debate. He's been injured, but I think he's playing in the wrong team, in the wrong system. So I think it's a team like Arsenal or even Man City because of our style. Who's on their left?
Neto's kind of going through the middle at the moment, but
I found the line out. I think Neto's also a bit underrated.
But I reckon with Arteta, there's always there is probably a stat behind it that backs up Chelsea are the most attacking side. There is probably a stat there from his little stat playbook that he will have. That'll back that argument up somehow.
They're saying that it would have been a different game if Palmer was playing.
No.
We could say that if we had
Say again?
Saying we could say the same if we had any of our front three playing. It's an easy thing to say, and every game could be different with injuries or absences.
Yeah, but you look at Chelsea and you look at Palmer. Like Palmer's last goal contribution was in, I think, December against Tottenham. That was what, about 15? No, probably less than that. Probably about 10 games ago. I think they played their missing.
Sorry, go on. Sorry.
I've said my piece now, Jake.
Sorry. There was talks about Maresca apparently getting like Arteta, and if you don't fit the system, sort of thing. But I'd be very surprised with Cole Palmer's numbers that if that was the case with Maresca not picking him because he don't fit or play by the system that they want. Because he's like a.
He's not fitted, is he? Or is he? Are you saying that he's they've benched him?
I think he's gone off the ball a little bit, and it's a bit weird. Like, obviously, if you have diarrhea, you have diarrhea. It's not the best of times to have it, but it's just a bit weird. And then then he was off the next game, and then the next game after that. So I don't know if there's a separate injury or something like that. It just seems a bit weird that he's.
I don't know if he's getting frustrated as well. I mean, the Chelsea fans after about 55 minutes were kind of chanting attack, which is like Maresca. I don't know why. The early part of the season they seem to kind of go toe to toe with teams, and they were winning games like 4-2, 5-2. And now they've gone really boring to watch. And say they didn't. I never sat there really worried they were going to score unless it was from a set piece. And obviously the Raya error was the closest they came, and it just feels like they've been very safe at the moment for some reason.
But there's. Sorry,
I see something. Sorry for interrupting. I see something on Twitter. The reason why Maresca ball, I found this quite funny. The reason why Maresca ball looked quite entertaining is because he didn't have a chance to implement his style.
Yeah.
And now that you're seeing it, it's gone to Pot, and that's why, in my opinion, as much as everyone laughed at Poch, he still had a style.
Yeah.
You saw it even in the games they lost. You still saw it because he always went with it.
But then are they becoming risk averse? Are they becoming risk averse like we are now?
But Leicester were like it last year under Maresca. Like, Chelsea can't be surprised by this because Leicester were romping home to the Championship title last year, and then they did exactly the same there. And they kind of just got over the line at the end of the season. And I don't know. It does seem to be like very risk averse when it comes to the end of the season for some reason.
Oh no, they did fall off. Leicester nearly fell off.
Yeah.
Who was given man of the match? Because I can't remember.
I think it was
who was it? I'm just trying to think.
I think Mourinho.
Was it Mourinho?
No, it was either him or Bryce or Odegaard. I can't remember. One of them.
It definitely was. Yeah,
I'm not sure I saw who it was actually. Yeah,
I should have seen it. I should have looked it up.
I've just got nightmares of Raheem Sterling holding that man of the match.
Oh, come on, guys, give him a break, man. Give him a break. You know he's not going to be there at the end of the season, so just give him a break and stuff. So, all right. So, what about? So, out of the, I want to give a player's ratings. If I can remember who started.
Raya started.
Yeah, let's talk about Raya. I mean that. Well, I don't know. Sometimes I don't know, but do you think sometimes because Arsenal sometimes dominate games, Raya his focus goes off sometimes?
No,
I think that was just a really odd shot.
well, because
To be fair, and it's just because you can tell by the way it span back out of his hand.
it was also quite like the ball's it's come off like a wet surface. Obviously, like the sprinklers and all that. Sometimes when your gloves are not been tested, they don't stick.
You taking a Mickey, pal? You know what I mean?
But you know what I mean, like.
Yeah. There's a bit of a wind coming in.
Yeah.
All right. So, what would you get? What would you, Charlie? What would you give him out of 10?
7. Didn't really have much to do. He had one save. 7.
Yeah.
That's fine. Like, see.
What would you give him, Adam?
Same. I'll be 7. I mean, again, it would definitely have dropped if that one had squirmed into the goal. But it's a clean sheet at home and home to a rival. He was pretty safe. I think he claimed everything he needed to. It was the one big error, but yeah, I think it was a solid performance. Otherwise, he recovered from it well.
Yeah. What do you give him, Jake?
Yeah, all good. 7 or 8.
Yeah.
Clean sheet. Happy days.
Well, okay. What would you give Saliba?
I think he won all of his aerial duels, and that's something I'm very critical of him on because he's 6'4", and sometimes when I watch him, he don't look like he knows how to jump, especially against like the big, sort of lanky attackers like your Isaks, your Salahs, and all that. So I'll give him probably 7.5 because I felt like he dealt with Nkunku well.
Okay. All right. Jake?
Yeah, I think, he wasn't really troubled at all. Can't really remember them being in trouble. He cleans up very well, Saliba. I think Gabriel's more the sort of attacking to head the ball than Saliba would be. But, can't really fault him, 8. 7.
What do you reckon, Adam?
I'll go 7. I think, he dealt with. I mean, Neto's pace was combated by Saliba, and Neto didn't really. I mean, you can see he was getting more and more frustrated as the game went on. And I think he dealt with him well. I don't think the reason I'm giving him 7. I don't think he had an awful lot to do. I don't think Chelsea really crossed the halfway line too much. When I give Saliba 8s and 9s, it's normally when we're under the cosh and he marched the back line. But I think Chelsea were blunt going forward, so he didn't need to do an awful lot. It was one of those games I didn't notice him too much, which is not a bad thing. But he was good in what he did.
Okay, Gabriel, I'm going to start with you, Jake.
I hate to spoil it, but I think it's going to be one of those games where it's like everyone's a 7 or an 8.
Yeah.
I don't think. I think it was a bit of a nothing game. It's so bad to say about a London derby, but it just felt. Everyone was a 7 or 8. We didn't really have to try that hard. Obviously, we got the 1 goal, but we didn't really try hard after that to finish them off, kill them off. So. Yeah, sorry, Gabriel. Yeah, happy with him. 8.
Do you agree, Adam?
Yeah, again, I mean, the booking aside, I thought he was pretty faultless. He was slightly late on the tackle there, but yeah, again, for me, it was like Saliba 7. He had a couple of good interceptions, but again, it didn't have to be his best to keep a clean sheet on that day. It wasn't like we were under the cosh, so yeah, 7.
Right. So, what would you give? I'm going to be quick on this. Right, Timber, and who started? Was it Lewis that started on the?
I
It was
think it
Lewis.
was.
Yeah, it was.
Kelly, it was Lewis Kelly. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Fine. So what would you give both of them?
I think Timber. I think it's Timber's best game in an Arsenal shirt. And what I will say about Timber is, he's come off the back of an ACL. He's played stupid amount of minutes. Obviously, that's not his fault. Ben White's been injured. I think it has been. I think the consistency that he's shown, especially coming back from a big ACL injury, I'd say. I think he was man of the match. For me, he was my man of the match. I give him a 8.5.
I think he did get man of the match. I think it was him, wasn't it?
It was. Yeah, it might have been.
I think it might have been him who got man of the match. I'm not. I've still have to look it up, but what do
It was
you?
also quite funny what he done to Maresca as well.
Yeah. What do you say, Adam?
I agree. I thought it was great. I thought going forward, he looked a threat. I'm just surprised the amount of people that, with White coming back and saying that he'll be left out the side. I mean, personally, if White was to play, I would play him at left back in, especially in Madrid. I just think, I love Calafiori and Lewis Kelly, but for me, he's the most natural defender we've got of those three at the moment. I'd play him at left back if White was play at right back in either of those legs.
All right. So who? All right. Let's say both. All right. Let's have a look at that then for a minute. Timber and White. They're both fit, both ready to play. You got Lewis. Where are you going to put them? Where are you going to put all three of them? Who's going to? Or who?
On current form, sorry, you'd have to say Timber.
Yeah.
And I would play Lewis Kelly in Madrid.
Yeah.
And at home against Madrid. I just think you just got to play him. I love it that obviously I don't love the red cards, but I just think you need to play him, bleed him into these games because I think he will flourish.
I think you play Timber at right back. You drop Lewis Kelly to the midfield, and I think you play Calafiori as left back.
And then who are you taking out of? All right, who are you taking out of midfield?
I'll take out Partey, because I feel like Partey in these big games are a little bit of a risk, in my opinion.
Oh, but Partey's been one of our best players. Would you agree with that, Adam? Or
I wouldn't drop Partey. I mean, I think it depends on the first leg result. Being at the Emirates first against Madrid, I would actually probably play Lewis Kelly in the first leg. But if we had any lead over there, I would actually play Timber at left back and White at right back, because I think we'll be under the cosh. And I think both of them. I think Lewis Kelly's main attribute obviously is going forward at the moment. He's a very good defender, but he is obviously more susceptible to being a little bit rash. And I think White and Timber's experience defensively, if we went over to the Bernabeu with a 1-goal lead, I'd play them over there. So it very much depends on the result. I think if we went to the Bernabeu behind, then I'd be more inclined to play Lewis Kelly, because you'd have to go for it from a wing-back point of view. So it would really depend on the first result, or the leg result for me. I mean, who would play over there.
so everyone's mostly go. So Jack, you agree with that? So it's like Calafiori's really everyone's putting him at the back burner now.
I don't think he's back burner. I think Lewis Kelly will eventually go into midfield, and I think there will be some changes in defence over the next couple of seasons. Hopefully not. I do want Gabriel and Saliba to stay. I do think Saliba will stay. I'm worried about Gabriel now, or this Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to talk about. I was going to jump into that. I just wanted to do. In fact, I mean, the whole team? Because I mean, it wasn't that great game. The whole team. Oh, I'm just going to ask each individual for the whole team out of 10. Adam.
Yeah, I think it was blanket sevens, as Jake said. I think it was like, I don't think anyone was much better than that, and most people worked hard. Martinelli, Trossard all worked hard, and I think there was sevens all round. I think it won't live long in the memory as a game, but everyone was pretty good.
Yeah, because I know most people were sleeping, to be honest with you, with that game. But what'd you say, Jake? Again, what, you agree with the 7?
Yeah, bang on, sevens all round. I think Chelsea's lineup sort of give us the game as well. I don't think who was their other striker on the bench? Did he have a strike on the bench?
I think he brought on George, didn't he, on the wing? But yeah, they didn't really.
Yeah,
I was surprised. I was surprised they played Nkunku a little bit deeper as well. I think they played Neto. Yeah. It's weird, but sorry.
Yeah, I just felt as soon as I saw their lineup, I was like, yeah, happy days, done deal, sort of thing. But yeah, it's comfortable. So we didn't really have to go out of a second gear. So yeah, sevens all round.
Okay, cool. I've got yours. What you said, Charlie. You said the same thing. That's why everyone's agreed with you. Let's get on to some of this rumours, especially when it comes to Gabriel, because like you just brought up, the Saudis are again sniffing around at him, literally, allegedly something like 100 million. I mean, there's 5 Arsenal players right now Arsenal are going to be in contracts talks with. One of them is Ethan. The next one's the next Ethan, and you got what's you got Saliba, you've got
Gabriel,
Saka, and Miles Lewis.
Yeah.
I think Ben White was in talks as well for a new contract.
Sorry, who?
Ben White.
Okay, all right. So we might be
I think
six.
that's what I read.
So I mean, let's start off with. I want to start off with Gabriel. Adam,
Yeah.
Are you worried about that?
No, the reason why I'm not, I think unless he wanted to go, which I'll be amazed at, he strikes me as the kind of player that wants to win things at Arsenal. I don't think he wants to go for the money. I think the reason why I'm not worried is because
I'm sorry for cutting you, but you got to remember this season his head was turned. That is why he was left out of the team in the beginning.
Yeah, perhaps. I mean, yeah, maybe. I don't know, but I think with Gabriel, the passion he shows, the way he defends it, he celebrates blocks like they're goals. I just think he loves being it. And the reason why I'm not worried is because I think, Brighton turned down 90 odd million for Matoma. I think if we went and took 100 million for Gabriel, I think there'd be anarchy in the fan base. I think, again, 100 million isn't what it was 5 years ago. I think if you could reshape your whole squad with 100 million, but that isn't the case anymore. I think Gabriel's such a fan favourite. He's the bedrock of the defence with Saliba. I just think it would just be starting from scratch again. I think we have to keep those two together to have any chance to win the league next season. I'd just be amazed if we even kind of entertained it, to be honest, unless it went up a lot higher than that, or he made noises of wanting to go. I don't not say Califorri wouldn't be the long-term replacement for him at centre-back. I think he's actually more of a centre-back than left-back. But I'd be amazed if Gabriel went personally.
I mean, like I said before, I hope he doesn't, because I'll tell you what, that for me, that would be a snowball effect.
Yeah.
But I mean, especially with Saliba as well, because those two, I don't care what anyone says, that's the best two partnerships in the Premier League. Unless, I mean, I know people might be listening to this. If you think what I'm saying is wrong, please let us know. Please comment about it. But I do believe Arsenal right now has got the best two central defenders in the whole of the Premier League. In fact, you've in the top. I think they had the top 20 best defenders in the whole of the world, and I think Gabriel, if I'm wrong, Gabriel was fourth, and Saliba was third in the world.
Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, again, if he goes, I mean, I pray to God he doesn't. You can see the way how he celebrates when he scores, the way he celebrates when he does his tackles, or when one of the other his teammates does tackles. I mean, he celebrates his tackles like he celebrates goals. Do you know what I mean? If everyone's seeing that,
yeah.
You know what I mean? And the passion that he's got. But if the Saudis come in and offer stupid money, not just to Arsenal, but as a salary as well. And we've got to remember, in the beginning of the season, his head was literally turned. And we got to remember what he was out for a little while. And was thinking, why is Gabriel out? Why isn't he playing? Is he injured? It wasn't because he was injured or anything. It was because his head was turned because of that. So I don't know. What do you say? What do you say, Charlie?
What do I say to Gabriel's head being turned?
Yeah, or Gabriel, or them coming in again for Gabby.
I don't. How old is he? 26, 27?
27, I think, yeah.
Yeah, so he's in his prime years. I can't see him moving to Saudi. I don't think he's going to snoop as low as the likes of John Duran, all them lot who have snuck off to Saudi.
Okay.
I don't think he's gonna. I don't think Arsenal will accept a bid. I really don't, and I don't think he's gonna go.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me put this to you, Jake.
Sure.
What if the Saudis came in and said, "Okay, we want Gabriel. We're going to offer you 120 mil. All right. Do you think now? Think about this a minute. Would you take that 120 mil, let him go, and then put in 150 for Isaac?
Yeah, just like playing FIFA in the dream world. It's just
Well, it could happen. Look, they offered him.
Listen, I think we in a separate point, and I'll go back to that point. But in a separate point, I think this team, and I think there's certain members in this squad, the likes of Saliba, Gabriel, Timber, Rice, Odegaard, Havertz. I think they do want to stay at this football club and win something with this football club,
especially Odegaard. I think Odegaard's heads there.
Yeah, and now the hunger these youngsters have got, Nwaneri and Lewis Kelly, they've come in as well, and I think we've got a good foundation and I think these players do want to stay here. Like Saliba came out the other day and said he wants to win things here. I think it's still down to the player. I think the player would have to come out and say, yes, I want to move to Saudi, because otherwise I don't think there's any other way that he will go. I think he does love the club, and I think he will stay. But yeah, be interesting to find out more about what happened in the summer. Just gone, more details. But yeah, I think he'll stay. I think you have to keep Saliba and Gabriel, otherwise we're going to have to. It'll be a rebuild again in defence again. When we've sorted our defence. Our defence, I'm happy with our defence. I'm happy with our midfield to a degree.
Okay.
So obviously we need to concentrate, but yeah, I don't want to sell Gabriel to get Isak, even though that would
boost our attack.
Would you take that? Would you Adam? Would you take that 120?
I wouldn't, and the reason why is because we haven't sold a big player for some time. And when I say that, a player that's kind of definitely in the big 11, in the main 11, I think it just sends out the wrong tone. We're saying it like Isak would definitely come if we're selling players like Gabriel. The problem when you start accepting bids for your best players, I don't think Isak's going to look at that and go, "Oh, that's the club to go to," because Liverpool are in the situation where they're going to possibly lose 2 or 3 players, and I just don't think that makes it as appealing to go to. Arsenal have been there before. We took a long time to recover from the Fabregas, Nasri sales. Van Persie. We weren't attracting the same level of player because we look like a selling club, and we've got that tag, and that's why I wouldn't accept it.
I agree.
I think we're in a different place now, so where we can tell other clubs to fuck off, basically.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because before we didn't have a leg to stand on, and yeah.
Charlie, I'm going to ask you: would you take the 130 mil?
No.
Okay,
I'll take your checkbook somewhere else, Pat.
Mate, listen, I've got deep pockets. All right, Charlie, you said no. All right.
Well, listen, if we've got 300 mil in the summer, then I don't feel like we need to.
Who says we got 300 mil in the summer?
Listen.
Well, for rumours are.
Yeah.
Well, okay, fine. All right. I'm the Saudi. I'm coming in again. I'm going to say to you, all right, you don't want 120. Here's 150.
Where does
it stop?
Exactly. Where's it stop? It ain't going to stop.
I said this to my mate yesterday. I said, he's priceless. I said, if you want to sell him, and I might have been, I don't know why this number came to my head. I said, if you want to sell him, realistically, if the Saudis want him, spend 300 mil.
All right, so you would sell him then? So
no, but I wouldn't. If you were to sell him at a price where you can try and what's the word? I can't think of the word now. But try and bite them. Try and get them to open up. I said 500 mil.
Gabriel is the glue of that defence.
I totally agree. I totally agree.
Saliba might be technically a bit better than him, but I think people sleep.
I think Gabriel's
people
more.
Sleep on Gabriel. I think Gabriel's probably a better defender.
You're absolutely right. Gabriel does not get the recognition that he deserves.
No, he doesn't.
He really does. It's sometimes, and even Gabriel, Saliba had to come out and say that Gabriel carried him.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
And what he's probably doing for Lewis Kelly as well at the minute. Just, do you know what I mean?
This is what I'm going to
think of.
This is what I'm going to say about Gabriel. His first season, it was a bit hit and miss. You can debate it because I remember he won three player of the months in a row. I think September, October, November. if I'm not mistaken. Got COVID, got dropped. Rob Holding came in with Pablo Mari, played out of their socks. Bear in mind we weren't performing well. This was around December, and everyone was like, sell Gabby. And this was also around the time when he came back into the team, but he was also costing us, getting red cards. Second season was more, you had a better goalkeeper, like better vocally. I think Gabby also woke out of his shell. Okay, the mistakes were still there, but they weren't as bad as the 2021 season. And then
But
he
look
also
who
helped.
he's playing with.
What's that, sorry?
Look who he's playing with.
Yeah, true. Who did he have in defence? He had Cedric Suarez. He had
Mari, Holding.
Gabriel, the other Gabriel at one point, wasn't it? I mean, we've had some bad ones at the back there. So
yeah. Who was left?
We finally sorted it. So no defenders getting sold. Please move on. Thank you. Cheers.
Yeah.
I agree with you, mate. Something, you remind me of the Newcastle fans. All right, when they talking about Isaac, all right, they're literally going mad. You cannot mention anything about Alexandra Isaac at the moment.
No, but that's the
I
thing.
think we've got more chance of getting Bruno.
That's the thing, though. And I've seen something on Twitter today. I bet, and if I was a football player and people keep asking me about speculation, I'd just turn around and not even answer their question. Because it's the same with Isak, though. I see Isak getting interviewed today, and he was asked about Newcastle. He said, "I like the city. I like the club. I like the fans." But this is the thing: if you're gonna keep, everyone's gonna keep bringing up speculation. It's just gonna get to a point now where players are just gonna turn around and go, "I don't want to talk no more." Next question. And if they do that, I respect them.
Right. All right. Let's move on.
I think Isak will go Liverpool personally.
Yeah,
a lot of
put money on it.
A lot of people are saying that, and I've read that as well. But I just want to ask, why?
I reckon Salah will leave, and that will be the cover up for it. Not as bad.
And plus, I think Nunes is going to go. Nunes is woeful, but so bad.
We've been linked with him.
Would you take
exactly? Yeah. If he walks through our door, mate, that's it.
Yeah.
Oh, so that's a no then.
It's a no from me. Yeah.
Oh, no.
All right, I'll move on from him. All right, let's talk about Saliba. I know he's come out and said that he wants to win things with the club. He wants to stay with the club. He doesn't want to leave because if he leaves, the fans would forget about you. Forget about things. Did you
love that because we never hear that from our players. We never ever hear that. So
can I just ask the question: who's the last big player to leave for a big fee? I'm not saying we should sell anyone. I just want to know because you brought it up. Someone brought it up earlier. I want to know.
What? Okay.
I'd say Sanchez was the last one that we probably didn't want to lose.
No, but
big money, you mean?
Yeah, I know we lost.
Yeah, but we're terrible. We're terrible at selling players.
I mean, I think that would have been big money, but obviously the Mkhitaryan coming the other way kind of diluted that a little bit. But I think that was the last player that I thought, oh God, we don't really want to lose him from the 11, but he wanted to go. I don't think and since then I don't think we've really sold anyone that I was that fussed about. I don't know if anyone disagrees with that, but
if we sold since.
Yeah.
No, you know what? The one that hurt the most, I think Iwobi hurt the most when we sold him.
Really, I thought it was good money for Iwobi. I mean, I think he's done well, but I thought 35 million at the time was huge money for Iwobi.
But hang on.
I think because of what he'd done. I think because
the biggest fee was Oxlade-Chamberlain, wasn't it?
That's 35 mil.
Yeah. But that's terrible. Terrible for us.
Hang on a minute. What's his name go? Was it Gut? Is it the French player? He went to Monaco. Was it
4 million?
Following Balogun.
Yeah, that's it. How much did he go for?
Oh, I think you meant the youngest striker. Sorry.
No, Balogun. What did he go for?
30
I
mil.
was to say like 15
mil. Like 20, 25, I think. Yeah, that was good money again. I mean, weirdly, we've had a couple of good sales around that price. I thought Iwobi was good money. I thought Balogun was good money. But you say some of the bigger players we've got terrible deals for.
Yeah, we got
good money.
So what did we get for Smith Rowe then?
35 mil.
Do you think that was good money or shit money?
I've got a list here. It was Oxlade-Chamberlain, Anelka, Alexis Sanchez, Fabregas.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, Anelka.
Smith Rowe. But Anelka's second, and that was in 99.
And
he bought both the training ground and Henri. Probably Wenger's two biggest purchases.
Yeah, with inflation, that was probably more like 60, 70 million. But yeah, it was. What
was Anelka? How much did we sell him for?
And now
About
it's
18,
30 mil.
18 million, was it? Yeah.
30 mil.
We bought him for 7, didn't we?
Oh,
No, it's
30.
500 grand.
That's it. Sorry, 500
Yeah.
grand. That's it. Yeah, 500 grand. Let me quickly move on. I'm going to move on to. All right, Saliba's a no-brainer. Obviously, it was well, I wouldn't say it's a no-brainer. No one's a no-brainer. Nothing's certain. But I still, again, they're in contract talks with him. What do you guys say about him?
Who's that?
Keeper.
Sorry.
Saliba.
No, Saka.
Oh,
Saka.
no, yeah. You got to tie him down.
100%.
You gotta tie him down.
100%.
Yeah, I think you throw whatever money you want at him.
Sorry.
Say again.
Is that me, Pat? Sorry.
Yeah, say again, Adam.
I think, for what Saka's done, over the last 4 or 5 seasons, I think, he deserves to be the top earner, if not the close to be the top earner. I was watching Sol Campbell on the overlap earlier, and he was saying about he left Spurs because he just felt like the homegrown players weren't getting the money that they deserved at Spurs.
Yeah,
there was the other bits as well. And Rooney said that as well, with Everton, I think. And it's weird that sometimes, you get a homegrown player and they don't seem to throw the money at them. You go and get these big signings, you go and throw 300 grand at these players, but then, and you almost go, well, because the players have come through the academy, they're going to be a bit more grateful at 150 grand. I think Saka deserves whatever the top earners are getting at Arsenal. He deserves.
Is that why you think two of our up and coming academy players went to Man United? Because I know one of them was a bit greedy. I heard.
Yeah, that Chibi.
I think that Obi Martin was more greed. I think with Heaven, I think where's he going to play? He's not.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Saliba or Gabriel. So
yeah,
it's funny that he's walked into the Man United side and he's never played a game of football.
Let me ask you: do you think Arsenal, because obviously every time it's like with Saka, I think his last contract, if I'm right, they gave him a 4-year contract. Now it's rolled down to 2 years. Do you think they should tie them down like what Chelsea does with these? I'm not saying 10-year contracts, but do you think they should literally like a 5-6 years contract? Do you think they should tie them down really heavily, or just do the same thing, 4-year contracts, and every time they got to keep scrambling after every 2 years to try and top it up?
I don't mind 5 personally, but I think we got into real problems when we tried to do what the Chelsea did. When we did with Jenkinson, Holding, and a lot of that English kind of core of, we gave, Jenkinson was at the club for about 2-3 seasons more than he should have been. And, albeit he was a fan of the club, but we just could not get rid of these players. We put them on 60-70 grand a week for 5 years. And a lot of them, they fell off. I think it was Kieran Gibbs as well, was on, was it 60 odd grand a week, and he was playing, one every 4 games for the League Cup.
Right.
And that, I'm not saying Saka's that level. I think, Saka is obviously a much bigger level than that, but I don't see the need to go to 6-7 years when you can up it in 4 personally. Okay,
fine, but then you're going to have to look at the 2 youngsters now. I mean they're both going to get, obviously, Ranieri, he signed his pro contract when he was 16 years old, and you got Lewis now. Obviously, he's going to be signing his new pro contract now. I mean, again,
what are they on now? They must be. They can't be on much now. So what?
No, they can't be.
We're going to easily double or triple their wages, which isn't going to really.
They're going to have to.
Yeah, they're not that much.
The reason
that's going to be like what? Be like 100 grand, something like that.
Yeah, because the reason, absolutely. I mean, the reason why I'm saying that is because right now, Real Madrid, Inter, PSG are all watching Ranieri. Every one of them.
If he wanted to go, he would have gone when he had the chance.
No, I get that.
He could have gone Man City like last season. I think he could have gone Man City.
Yeah.
I think Ranieri's smart. He's not going to go to them. So if there's any club he might go to in the future, I do see it being Madrid. I can't see him going to the likes of another English club because I don't think he's got that in him. It's the same with Lewis. It's the same with Miles. I don't think they've got that in him.
It's the Arteta effect as well.
Yeah, that as well.
I think a lot of these players are behind Arteta. So
you can tell that in the way that when we sign players, like there's a crazy story going around that Mikel Arteta was talking to some of Calafiori's family. It's like, if this is the extent he'll go to get players, then I'm on board. Yeah.
I think you look at clubs like Madrid as well. You know, you think like Ødegaard hardly got a game over there. You know, I think the fact he's got into the team, or he played at 16, he's getting regular minutes at 17. You know, moving on to 18. You go to Real Madrid, Barcelona, you're not guaranteed the minutes. He's an Arsenal fan. I don't think there's any rush for him to go.
Like people, I mean, obviously, I mean, with this article, I mean, what it says here, it claims that Real Madrid, alongside AC Milan and PFG. I mean,
it's all smoke and mirrors, Pat. He's one of the best.
Maybe, but when you get people like Barcelona or Real Madrid come knocking on your door, I mean,
he'll want to be starting week in, week out for Arsenal before he does anything.
Yeah,
and this is personally.
It's been a very good season to break through. Let's be honest. You know, we've not had an abundance of attackers. We've had a lot of injuries. Like, he's going to look at Real Madrid and go, "Am I going to get ahead of Rodrigo, Vinny, and Mbappe?" And he is going to get regular minutes, even with Saka coming back here. And I don't see him giving that up. You know, if he goes to Real Madrid in 6-7 years' time and he hits that peak, then good luck to him. But I don't think he needs to go at 17, 18. As you said, I think it's, you know, it's kind of a bit of a nudge to Arsenal. Look, these clubs are coming in, paying what he deserves, and you've got a real asset on your hands. So you have to pay big bucks for him. I think, you know, I don't believe much of it. You say it's smoke and mirrors, as Jake said. I agree.
Right. Okay. Right. Before we move on, I'd like to just ask the audience as well. What do they think? Are they worried about it? Do they feel that, again, like with Gabriel and people like that? Are they worried about our defenders splitting? Please let us know in the comments what you think. What I want to move on with quickly, because I know we've spoken about them on top of the hour, but what I want to ask you guys, because I've got these three guys. I mean, I just want to hear your opinion on these. Who am I now? This.
There's also one thing I want to say about Ethan quickly, and I don't know if you guys agree, but I was just going to say this. Do you think, I know he's broken through, but do you agree with what Arteta's doing with him in terms of managing minutes? I do personally, because you don't want to see a player like that burn out, but I want to see if you guys agree. Just quickly.
Yeah, I think at the start of the season, I think we found out that he wasn't there really physically, even though he had the skill, technique, everything else. I just felt like, even now, I just feel like after 60, 70 minutes, he just looks not tired, but the game's caught up with him a little bit. I don't know if anyone else sees that, but I think as time goes on, when he's 18, 19, and he's physically growing into himself a little bit more, I think he's going to be amazing. But yeah, I just think at this point in time, I think he's just getting to grips with the league, I suppose.
Yeah,
there's so much expectation. With all due respect, 3 months ago we hadn't really watched him. 3-4 months ago we hadn't seen too much of him. I remember Inter Milan away, he came on and you think, wow, like there's flashes of him.
He played
well. But then, and all of a sudden, he became like overnight. He became our most important player to some people, and it was like, he's going to go and be the match winner, and it was just too much pressure. I just think having Martinelli come back, Saka come back, he doesn't need to play every game, and he is going to be explosive off the bench in big games.
Okay, cool. So we're all in agreement. We're all in agreement.
Yeah, I know, I agree. Okay, look, guys.
Where would you play him? Where would you play him?
I'd play him on the right. I'd play him on the right.
I think he could become a number 10 eventually. I think or even a number 8, depending on kind of. But I think he's on the right at the moment is in the natural place. But I could see him going centrally eventually.
Because you know what, I remember this game's always going to stick for me. I remember it was Palace in the Cup. I was there. I remember I turned around to a fan. I said, I like Ethan, but in my opinion, he's a bit raw. And when I say that, he's raw in terms of he can drive with the ball, but if he's playing in like the central position like he did in the Ødegaard role, he's not going to create as much. And I said, when Ødegaard came on the pitch, even though it's for 45 minutes, you see what Ødegaard could do. Because I think he got 2 assists and he created like, I think the most chances on the pitch. And it's like, it's no like disrespect to Ethan. Like he's a good player, but I don't think he's the level that you want.
Set up for the wing because he can easily go past people one-on-one.
Yeah.
When you're in the middle of midfield and you've got a couple more players around you, it's a bit more difficult. But I still think he can pick a pass and obviously.
You see when he assists for Marino against Leicester.
I think he's going to be groomed to become to be a number 9.
Oh yeah, Arteta did
I
like
missed that. I'll see who's smiling. What was that? Bring that Adam's face.
That was a bit silly.
That one, guys. Oh.
I don't think it would become a number 9. I don't think it would become that.
You don't think so, no?
No.
All right, then we're talking about the number 9s. Well, we've got. Look, I've got all three. These three in front of me, and I know who I prefer. If I'm honest, I would like to hear your guys' opinions. Who you prefer out of these three? Sesko, Isaac.
Should we do who realistic and?
Yeah.
Who's the third one? Who's the third one?
All right, realistically. All right, realistic. I'm going to start from the top. I'm going to start with you, Charlie. Realistically,
I think Sesko. I think for the price, it's more realistic than what Newcastle are going to want for Isak.
okay.
Who's the third striker? You got Isak, Sesko, who else?
Gyökeres.
Who's that? Who?
Victor.
Victor Gyökeres.
Ooh. Yeah, no, I still say Sesko. Because I think Sporting want some stupid money for Gyökeres as well.
After one, I think it's 80 million. No, it's 100 million euros. Get out clause. So that's around 85 million pounds.
Yeah, no, it's still silly money. In my opinion, when I watched us against Sporting, and when you put Gyökeres up against physical defenders, like he did against us. I think the only chances he had were outside the box. He had nothing in the box.
I agree with you, but you're not playing Saliba and Gabriel every week.
No, but you're going to play the likes of, as if he stays, Van Dijk.
I
thought he did well. I know we won the game 5-1, but I went over to Lisbon and I thought he was good. As much as I think it was overshadowed by how good we were on the night. But I thought there was a couple of times when he ran from the halfway line.
He burst past Saliba and Gabriel a couple of times.
Yeah, I thought he was lively, and I think in a better side. Again, the goals he scored for Coventry and the goals he scored for Lisbon in against better teams, the hat-trick against City. I think in our side he would be outstanding. I think with the service he would be getting. I thought he was dangerous on the night, despite the fact we were absolutely outclassed Lisbon. I think he's good. I have to say I'm a big fan. Do you not
think because I don't think he? I'm hoping I'm wrong, but I don't think he suits Arteta's way of playing because Arteta likes all the players to have some part of the saying in the build up in the game in building up with a goal where he likes to stand off or stand next to the last defender.
But on that point, I think we won't go all out for Isak. I think we'll go for Sesko, and I think we'll get a left winger, and I think that will have a big say on how we obviously attack going forward. Obviously, but I think it's all based down to this left winger really, because I really want Martinelli to take it and be our left winger for the rest of the season or however long he plays. But I don't think it's going to happen now. I just don't think he's going to. I feel like he's hit his peak in a weird way, and I know he's so young, but I just felt like
again, when you talk about Martinelli, I get what you're saying. I still believe in him. I just believe that I don't know. I think he just needs to lift his head up a bit.
Does anyone fancy a left-footed left winger as well?
Say again?
Does anyone fancy a left-footed left winger?
Kvaratskhelia is the only one I can think of.
It's quite rare these days, a left-footed left winger. I mean, everything about the wing is inverted these days, isn't it? You look at most big sides and they go the other way.
That's why I think we'll probably get Sesko and that Williams.
Okay.
I think Sesko would suit Arteta's style because Sesko's similar to Havertz in terms of he can like join in with the build-up, but also be like more of like a fox in the box, which is what Havertz is.
And he's physical.
Yeah, as well. He's
I'm very mindful of the time, guys. So what I'm gonna ask you now. Okay, I'm gonna start. Adam, who are you gonna go for out of the three?
Ideal world, Isak. I think Sesko's most likely, but I mean, any of the three, I'd be delighted with.
Okay, Charlie.
I'm gonna say Sesko.
Okay, so sorry, Adam. Who did you? You're Adam. Who?
If it was money was no option, I'd pick Isak. Okay. But I think Sesko's most likely.
But you're going for Isak, right?
If I could pick, yeah, it would be.
Okay, fine. Charlie, you said you're going for
Sesko.
Sesko, and why? Quickly.
I just think like he'll suit Arteta's style. I think he'll suit the Prem to a T, and I think he'll hit the ground running. Well, I know Isak already knows the Prem, but I think in terms of what we need for our team, Sesko's is a perfect choice.
Okay. And Jake?
Exactly what Adam said. Isak him if I'm playing FIFA, but Sesko I think more realistic.
Mine, I don't agree with any of you. I'm going for I'm going for Victor Gyökeres. Honestly, I think he'd be absolute perfect for Arsenal. And the thing about it, I believe the reason why I'm saying that is because I know people are having a go because he's playing in Portugal, and most of the teams that he's playing against, they wouldn't even get into the second tier of the English in the first league. I get that, but at the same time, the amount of chances that he would have, because Arsenal makes more chances in the final third than any other team, that's against City, Liverpool, Chelsea. What I'm saying is, give that guy the chance. Give him the chance, all right, up front, and I guarantee you, all right, that guy will get us 30 to 40 goals. The amount of chances that we have, that we'll give him, and that's why I believe he should be our man. But again, I might be wrong. I'm hoping to other people when they watch the video, please subscribe, please like the like button, and please give us your comments below and let us know who would you prefer, because my preference is I might be wrong. I would love to go for Victor Gyökeres. Guys, I'm going to give you the last thought. How do you think we're going to be doing? I'm going to start with you, Charlie. Champions League. I want to know the results. How do you think we're going to do? And quickly, how do you think the first leg is going to go in the second leg?
You know what? At the start of the season, I actually did say this. I actually do think we can win the Champions League. I think first leg 2-0 or 2-1 to us. Second leg, KG 1-1. We go through an aggregate, and I think we play PSG. I actually do think if we beat Madrid, we win the Champions League. And that's the last thing I'm going to say. If we beat Madrid, we will win the Champions League.
Adam?
I think it's a coin flip, the Madrid game. I mean, I think the Emirates are going to be rocking. You know, the loudest I've ever heard the Emirates was Barcelona at home in 2011 when, you know, they were the best team in the world at that point. I think Real Madrid's going to get the same kind of vibe in there. I think, you know, the club know it's a huge opportunity. I think we can beat him at home. I think we have to go out there with a lead, personally. I know we've won in the Bernabeu before, but I think if they get something, if they get a draw at our place or beat us there, it's going to be very difficult. But I think we can, if we beat them there, I think we can go there and get a draw, eke out a draw, like Charlie says. I think we can do that. We've done that in the past, and I think we've got the defense is good enough to do that. I think, maybe 2-1 at home, and then I'm hoping for like a 0-0 away, maybe. But yeah, I think it's a coin flip. I think it's going to be a really tight game. I'll happily see a boring 0-0 and go through. Yeah.
And I'm going to give you the last word on this one, Jake.
Saka's coming back. He's going to score a hat trick.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm dreaming. Again, defensively, I know they've got great players, but I'm really happy with our defense. So as long as we can take our chances, it'd be lovely to see Saka back. If he comes back for the first game, I reckon he'll wait and probably see him in the away leg. But who knows? But yeah, I think we've got nothing to lose. Do you know what I mean? We have to go for it. This is our best chance for a while. So yeah, we're going to have to play these teams eventually. So let's get them out of the way and get it done.
So what you're saying? What are you saying? The score for the first leg, and I'm asking about the second leg as well.
I think it could be a 1-0 to us or a 0-0, and I think we'll go over there. And I think it'll be a couple of tight games. I don't think it will be a high score, and I think we'll cancel each other out to a degree. But we're going to need someone back like a Saka to unlock.
Right. That's what I wanted to quickly. I know I said I was going to be. This is our last thing, but you've just brought up a whole can of worms there.
Sorry,
because I've been listening to a lot of Arsenal fans, and there is a split. It was a split down the middle. Some people are saying that we shouldn't be bringing Saka back yet because of the injury. Others are saying that don't bring him back for the first leg, but bring him back for the second leg. My quick opinion, and just what my 2 pence worth is, we got to be very careful when we bring him back, because we bring him back too early and he has another injury. That's his career. We've got to be very, very, very careful, and we need him back in the at the beginning.
Arteta's aware of that. I think.
Yeah, well, that's my 2 pence. I'm going to quickly ask you, Adam, what do you think quickly?
I'd play him. I think we're 17 days away still from that game. He's in training at the moment. I think they're going to know if he's fit enough. I don't think we're in a position where we were with like Fabregas years ago when we played him ahead of schedule. I think if he's fit, he plays. If he's not, he doesn't. I think if he's fit, we have to play him. I think this is our big chance. As you say, this could be the best chance we ever win the Champions League in the next 5 years.
And you're willing to play him, even though that might mess his career up.
I don't think it would, though. I don't think we would risk him if it was like that. Again, you don't train in mid-March if you're not going to play on the 8th of April.
But don't you think before that he needs at least 2 to 3 games? I personally feel 2 to 3 games behind closed doors to really see how he acts.
I'm sure he'll get that if he's training now. I'd say, if he's fit by the Fulham game, then you maybe bring him on for 15 minutes at the end. If we're winning, but I just don't see you don't play him against Real Madrid at home if you've got a chance of beating him and he's fit.
He'll definitely be on the bench.
Yeah, I still think the Fulham game's a bit too early because it's the start of the month.
Yeah, maybe.
In an ideal world, he gets a couple of games, but I don't think you've got the choice. If he can come on for half an hour, 40 minutes, make a difference.
I think he'll be fit for Everton. I think he'll be fit for one of Fulham or Everton. I do before the Madrid game. I don't think he'll throw him straight in, but I think even if it was the case, he'd play him.
This is why I think, just quickly, the international break. If he was fit, like I know he's going to come back in April, but if he was fit ahead of schedule, I think the international break would have done him a lot of good, in my opinion.
Yeah, could have.
Because you can still play at least 30 minutes in 2 of the games.
No,
So
if he played 90 minutes, both games, and been in a wheelchair for Madrid.
Yeah, keep him at Arsenal. I'm with you on that, Jay.
Yeah. No, okay, cool. That's good.
Talk about that. Do you know how many of our players are out on international at the moment?
Odegaard, you got
majority of them.
Yeah. I mean, I'll just fingers crossed, guys, because there's a lot of them out right now on international duty.
But that's not unusual, is it? I mean, yeah, Real, Liverpool, Man City are going to be in the same boat. I'd say now, I think the problem is they always say internationals are a step up, but the top 5 or 6 clubs in the world now are pretty much all internationals. It's very rare you get a player playing for Arsenal, City, Liverpool that aren't in their international squads these days.
Yeah. No, listen, guys.
Rice is 180 minutes standard.
Yeah,
guys. You've been absolutely amazing. I really appreciate it. What I want to say to the people out there, please, like I said, please subscribe. Please hit the like button and ring that bell. And please comment on what we've discussed. If you agree with what we're saying, please let us know. And and please just follow us on the channel and just be safe out there, guys. I really appreciate it. What you guys have done. Thank you very much. Hang on. And